the Talos of Tech podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I am once again joined by Nick and Randy. Let's start with Nick. How you doing today?
I am doing really well. If you notice some better quality, I did end up getting a camera. So you can see all of my zits and all of my freckles. So it's amazing. I hope that everyone pixel peeps. And how are you doing, Drew? No one ever asks you.
I'm doing great. And how are you? How are you, Randy?
I'm doing good. First of all, congratulations on your new camera. Well, I'm still using iPhone, so I'm a little upset about that.
I would use a nicer camera, but internet. So
internet, I know.
Screw you, Nick.
Yeah, good job, Nick. Way to try to stand out. Hey, before we get started,
if I edit an episode, I'll use my own.
Okay, that sounds good. Fair.
Yeah. Before we get started, I just wanted to talk about life quick. It's been a while since I've been on the show. What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You've been demoted.
I know. Well, no. You know what happens? You gave me dual hats. Now I'm doing two things. I'm still working on, growth of channel and my bubbly face. And
of course,
I want you guys to know, and I want our listeners. I want you guys to know too. I'm very appreciative of this platform, of this podcast. I'm very appreciative that I get to do a show with two of my best friends weekly or almost weekly. And I'm very grateful for everything that we have been able to make out of this. And I couldn't ask for better friends on a better platform with great memories and with great audience and the support that I have received and that we get as a whole. And this is just to the beginning, and here's to many more great memories to come. So thank you for everything that you guys have done. All of you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I completely agree. And it's all likewise, Randy. Very much likewise.
Yeah. I see you guys are drinking water. I'm drinking Motomilitant Coffee.
Ooh.
We'll have an ad slot later on about that. But good coffee. It's my coffee of choice. So really, also before we also get started, just to recap, I know, I was out last week making sure people got married and stuff, and also working on
congratulations, Jordan and Heather.
There you go, and sponsorships as well and stuff like that. So I'm still staying busy behind the scenes. Just to recap, no new thoughts from this guy. There we go. So everyone's like, oh, I want to hear from Randy. There you go.
I don't care a bit about what Nick and Drew talked about, but that episode aged as well as milk because we got an Apple event, guys, in like 3 days. And we didn't even know about this just a few days ago.
I know.
I think this is a record for like event announcement to when it actually is. I do not recall Apple ever announcing an event this close to when it actually is taking place. Are you excited, worried, concerned, nervous? Wetting your pants?
I couldn't be more thrilled. I was sitting there working one day, and it was Tuesday, right, of last week, and Drew posted a video, and I don't know, about 30 minutes after he posted it, I had opened YouTube to pull up a video, and like top of my subscription box was Drew's thumbnail with, new Apple event confirmed September 15th. And I was just like, Drew, you are so fast.
That's not what I said.
I don't remember what your thumbnail was, but it was a thumbnail.
I said iPhone 12, which might not age well.
This is true. We'll see what the leakers have to say about that. But I heard about the event from your video, Drew. It's the first time that like you broke news to me in like a major way. It was like, dude, you are very fast, and that's a compliment.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm the fastest on the west of Mississippi. I'm like, I don't know if that's always a good thing, but in this case it is because I feel like, ooh, I'm the first one to break something because, Drew made it to trending. And I was just laying in bed, bored, couldn't go to sleep, life, just whatever. And I go, let's see what the world is talking about. What do they care about? And I had just finished watching, like, no joke. I just finished watching, and I like, oh, it's right there. And I go, hey, someone stole Drew's thumbnail. Hey, wait a minute. And then I open up the video because I don't read the comments. Hey, someone ripped off his thumbnail. Hey, wait a minute. And then I open up the video again, and then I because I never go to the comments, but I scroll down, I'm like, and there it is. Sure enough, trending. I'm like, and it's not like that category trending either. No, it's like trending.
Trending. That was cool.
Yeah,
but also completely useless.
I will say I will say for the record, trending doesn't mean very much, and it's very relative to the time of day and how other videos are performing and how your video's performing relative to your channel. So, like, I've had videos I think perform better than that one. There are other stuff on trending, so it means nothing. But thank you, I appreciate it. It was cool to see, nonetheless.
You're so
because I
humble.
didn't believe it when you first tagged me. I was like, wait, what?
Hey.
That one of all videos? Not
my we still have iPods or whatever video.
Yeah.
That was your
Why
most
does this
viewed
exist?
video for so long. Like,
I remember I have a collection of videos that were the most viewed for a bizarre amount of time. The first one that kind of took off was Apple Pencil 1 year later, which I found hilarious.
Still the first video I ever saw from you, Drew.
Okay, well, it worked. I got Nick out of it, so.
And,
I
that's
guess
all
I
you
can
need
say
in
I
life.
regret
Who
that
needs
video.
all right.
Just kidding. I love you both so much. You're amazing friends, and I'm grateful that people are interested in our own conversations. And it kind of sucks because at the same time, there's a lot of things I want to talk about, but then we have to say save it for the podcast. And
I know.
Sometimes
I have one quick question that's isolated, and so I just want to get it out of the way. Will we make a
9
reappearance in this year's iPhone or podcast segment thing?
Probably not, but that would
Probably
be epic
not,
if we
but it'd
did.
be cool. I'll definitely
I'm
be
gonna keep
watching
an eye out.
every single frame
Yeah, I'm gonna-
multiple times.
I'm going to pay attention. If there's any part of the iPad Air or iPhone commercial that shows scrolling, I'm going to be like, where is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have an eye out, but I'm not expecting it.
No.
I fully expect it to be an isolated instance, and I still don't care. That's amazing. I was way more
care a
proud to
little.
be featured in an
I
iPhone
care a
ad
little
than
bit,
YouTube
Drew.
trending.
Jim Cook saw a few frames of my artwork. I mean,
We were immortalized in that way.
That's crazy. You can't take that back.
When someone asks what either of you do, I love how much we talk about this on the podcast. That was literally over a year ago now, and we're still talking about it.
people are like, oh, those 10 frames really went to your head. And I'm like,
changed the game.
Also, we all watched it and had no clue. It was hours before that a fan pointed it out, and we looked straight at it and didn't see it. But if someone asks either of you guys what you do for a living, you could be like, well, a $1 trillion company likes to use my artwork in their commercials. So,
a $2 trillion
say.
company.
$2 trillion company. Well, not are they still $2
Are they?
trillion?
I don't know.
thought
They
fell
hit
below.
it. They might have gone down. I think they did go down. I don't know if they're back up.
Nick, I thought you were the king of stock predictions. What
Dude,
the heck?
I'm so busy with work. Y'all
You
have
predicted Tesla would hit 420.
1.92T. That's what they're at.
Okay, they're not quite at 2 trillion at the time of recording, but
nearly $2
maybe
trillion
they'll get there.
company likes to use our artwork in their advertising.
It's no biggie.
that is a fact.
It's a little startup. I don't know if you heard them. Called Apple.
Okay, let's get our faces out of our
company.
rears because we got actual news to bring you today, Drew. Right?
All right.
What's the news?
We have an Apple event, and we haven't had a sit down. Like, okay, let's go through the event. What are we getting? When is it coming?
Let's bring up the elephant in the room. Do you guys think there will be iPhones at this event?
Yes. Yes.
So Nick is saying yes. Is Ricky going to play devil's advocate? Oh, he's agreeing.
No.
All right, so we're going against Bloomberg.
It's easy to play devil's advocate because it's just more people are. I want because I'm saying yes from a want points of view. It does not make sense why they wouldn't do it, and I get it. This doesn't make sense all year round, but there's two major events always: dub or triple U, and iPhone.
Quadruple U.
Come on, get it right.
Can you count?
Quadruple.
My God.
I word
Get
good.
him off the call.
Okay.
I word good. I word good. The iPhone is the bread and butter still. It's the most sold hardware.
I agree.
You're going to talk about software and Apple One and all these things that's been coming up. Fine. And I'm sure we'll have lovely AR demos to go with them. iPhone is the most sold hardware that they make. The bread and butter, not the accessories, not anything else. iPhone. There's no way we are going to get iPhone news this coming week. That we might not see them ship. I just find it so hard to believe that
I haven't seen anyone suggest they're shipping this month. But I have seen Apple unveil an iPhone.
iPhone 10.
Yeah.
A popular one. And 10R. A popular one nonetheless. I've seen a lot of people I've seen a lot of people make the argument that, well, they had something to ship. You know, they had the iPhone 8 to ship. But guess what? I was there on iPhone 8 launch day. It was dead as hell. Also, the 10S was one of the most boring iPhone upgrades ever. 10S Max was a little interesting, but it was less than a year after the 10 had officially launched. And, may I add, the 10R was the bestseller of 2019, and they still unveiled it over a month before shipping it.
Yeah.
So I see no reason why September, which has been iPhone event for 8 years, just like Quadruple UDC has been the software event for well over a decade, it is I agree that I want to see the iPhones, and I will not say that it's impossible that they won't show them. But if they do, people will be mad. I think investors would be mad, and I think it's a classic bait and switch, because if you unveil iPhones in mid-September every year for 8 years, and then you announce it again, and then just talk about watches and iPads and Apple One, everyone's going to feel like they sat through a super long commercial for no reason. And also, it does flatline current iPhone sales for the sake of, but new watches, guys.
For the sake of which effect?
Because
which effect would this cannibalize?
I don't know. That part of my brain has been erased by Neuralink for some reason.
I see.
Well. But I think it's a horrible idea to not unveil the iPhones. I will say there's a sliver of my brain that is admitting, okay, it's possible there won't be any, but I still think it's a bad idea, regardless.
This very articulate,
and it doesn't make sense. What the leakers are suggesting is happening at this event makes no sense to me. I don't see how they could fill 1 hour, let alone hour and a half to 2 hours.
The leakers
with
have been
iPad
wrong.
and Apple Watch a lot this year. They've been wrong.
Yeah. Well, everyone's a leaker because we're all bored in 2020. Staying at home.
Now everyone. My grandma started leaking Apple stuff
really?
this week. Everyone's doing it. Yeah.
I don't know if...
Do you think somebody's going to leak the election? Asking for a
Leak
friend.
the election. I don't know how you leak the election. I think the stock market leaks the results, but
Yeah. Oh, speaking of stock, I think I'm gonna. I'll say out loud. I think I'm gonna take my gamble and buy stock leading up right before keynote. And if there's no iPhone, then I'm sure the stock will drop. If there is iPhone, then I'm sure I'll see a quick surge in that. I like to do that every year. I'll buy like arbitrary number 10. I don't buy 10, but say I bought 10.
10 Apple shares.
And it shot up. I would sell like maybe 3 or 5 or whatever. Just take a little bit, and then I plan on investing long term type of thing. But I think Apple. No, it just doesn't make sense as a business. It doesn't make sense that they wouldn't talk about iPhone. It just. Why would you have AirTags and not iPhone? Why would you have Apple Watch?
They're going to advertise the AirTag next to the old iPhone. Like,
why would you advertise Apple Watch that needs an iPhone? It doesn't make sense.
Leakers are what they're suggesting Apple is doing. They could be right. I fully admit that. I've been wrong a lot. I agree. But what the leakers are suggesting is requiring Apple to do a bunch of things they've never done before. And what I'm suggesting requires Apple to do a bunch of things they've already done, which is why I still fall towards the iPhone side. Because, for one, none of these leakers knew this event existed a few days ago, and now they all claim to know exactly what it's about, despite not knowing what it is. And to me, this would be the equivalent of not announcing iOS 14 at Quadruple UDC. It's like, that's what it's for. That's why we have it. It's always been there for that. And to suddenly not do it just so you can brag about Apple TV Plus or something, like,
Yeah.
I don't see Apple doing that. And also, they've never unveiled Apple Watches without an iPhone. Another little detail that they've stayed pretty consistent with for the past 6 years is if there's a new watch, there's a new iPhone. And the iPad Air 4, while a great bargain and a good deal, the last iPad Air didn't get an event at all.
Yeah.
There was no stage time for it. It was a website refresh. And there might be somewhat, okay, it's an edge-to-edge display. Again, it's just a repackaged iPad Pro, just like the last iPad Air. And it might have Touch ID on a power button, which is kind of interesting, but I think would take maximum 10 minutes to talk about on stage.
Yeah, probably.
And even
less.
then, they wouldn't talk about the design. They would, if they're going to talk about it on stage, they're going to talk about affordability, the iOS 14 being more secure, then you authenticate with iPad OS, take your pencil, write and scribble, and all. Like they'll just.
I've seen a lot of people bring up, well, they did a whole March 2018 event about just the budget iPad. For one, that was not live streamed.
Yeah.
It's not a public event like this one is. For two, that was in March. Apple has been known in the past to occasionally do March events for minor things. They, in 2016, I think, had the shortest event ever. It was like 1 hour tops. Here's the iPhone SE,
iPad,
the first one.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
It wasn't live streamed.
Here's the 9.7-inch. Right, that's my point.
Yeah.
2018 March event wasn't even streamed. It was at a public school in Chicago. This is September. They don't do the tiny little minor events in September. Again,
going into holiday
season. Decide to
exactly.
I know they could decide to throw out the playbook and said, you know what? Actually, we're going to decide to do tiny minor events in September now to make people
iPhone
think
is
new
a
iPhones are coming,
website refresh now going forward.
That would be hilarious.
But we're going to talk about
They just
AR
do it
and
as a site
Pokemon
refresh.
Go for 4 hours during this live stream.
We're going
that
to
you'll
talk
still
about.
watch.
You know what we need to talk about today? We're going to come out and we're going to talk about the importance of Apple Watch and telling you to wash your hands. But the
That
iPhone is
so
gonna be
annoying.
released. And but the iPhone's going to be released.
I turned that
via
off.
Tech
Need to
refresh.
do that.
I did not put the beta on there because I don't want to be told how long to wash my hands.
I tried it. I tried it for a while. The problem is it wasn't good at detecting when I was washing. Is like I'd be washing my hands for like 10 seconds and doing all the and I look and it's like 14 seconds left. I'm like, you're not
Lies.
listening. You're not getting it. It wasn't paying
that's
attention
because they're gonna make you like, it's more accurate with the Series 6 model. That's why you need to get that one for it to be more accurate.
Well, I
And
better upgrade
it'll
then.
reduce
Better
your
get the
anxiety
edition.
about the coronavirus because, you'll be washing your hands and you'll get a little notification whenever you're anxious. So
Sure. Oh my goodness.
This is great.
So
This is wonderful.
We got iPhones. As far as what I'm thinking about iPhones, completely agree with both of you. It's stupid not to have them. And like my whole point is like from the marketing perspective, when they're advertising things, like they like showing off the new product, even if it's not available. Think AirPower, right? Like in a few iPhone ads, they had AirPower, right? And it wasn't available, still not available. They canceled it, whatever. But they always want to show the latest possible product with any advertisement, right? They're not going back and advertising. Okay, some of their like more emotional things, they're showing an old MacBook Pro or something, but all of their fresh advertisements, they're not advertising the iPhone XR right now. They're always showing the latest and greatest. And so if they had AirTags or a new Apple Watch Series 6, you bet your bottom dollar that they want the iPhone 12 Pro or 12 Pro Max or whatever the nicest phone is at the time. They want that to benefit from that secondhand marketing. Like that's the exact same genius that Steve had with the OG whole iPod lineup, right? Like as people bought iPods, they had to buy Macs for a while because there wasn't iTunes for Windows. And it drove not only sales of iPods, iPod advertising not only drove sales of iPods, but it also drove sales of Macs. And I think it's very similar currently when they advertise.
Somebody's been
ancillary
reading the
projects.
book, I see.
I did listen to it again on my huge road trip. It was good. I didn't listen to it at 2 times speed, which is
Did
how I listen to things.
did you guys feel affected? I'll tell you my stance first, but did you guys feel affected about the 120 hertz evidently not going to be a thing? I never cared. I'll be honest. It was the least impactful thing about me.
I knew it was gone months ago. I've accepted that fate. So I'm long beyond any hope of it coming back.
Yeah.
True. You never know.
As long as I can.
It'll
as long
be
as-
a decent surprise if it doesn't.
I don't think that should be, in my opinion, I don't think it should be a deciding factor in regards to delaying the product. If or like, oh well, we're trying to make it matte. I feel like 60 hertz has always been fine enough. The thing that people care about, even for prosumers, that they want to have the best camera, best resolution, best battery, those pillars. Refresh rate, it's not that it's a gimmick, it's just, it's there, but it's a non-driving factor. iPad, I do notice it. It doesn't like, boy, I love using the iPad because of the refresh rate. No, I love it because of the processing power that's in it. And the same thing that's going to be for iPhone and everything else. That's like, giving me stainless steel doesn't decide a factor of me buying a phone. Giving me a refresh rate doesn't decide the factor of me, I'm going to get this one or this one. OLED is different. Okay, higher contrast, right? Or higher dynamic range. Okay, fine. OLED, cool. Battery, all that stuff. But I never cared. I'm appreciative that we have it on the iPad for promotion. It's not a deciding factor for me. But some people are like, I can't believe they're not bringing it. Like, I didn't know it was that big of a deal, in my opinion.
I get that you're not into it and your main focus is the camera, but I also acknowledge there's a huge number of people that don't give two craps about the camera and care way more about the display. And I think it's more so seeing that we've had Androids now throughout the year charging $1,000, $1,200, $1,400 with 120 hertz OLED. And for Apple to be going into 2021 charging $1,000, $1,200 for no 120 hertz feels like the iPhone 7 basically not having wireless charging when everyone else was adopting it at that point. It's more of a...
Well, I mean, Apple doesn't do folding phones either for the same price.
That's a whole different can of worms. Don't open that one yet.
Okay.
We'll get
I'm
there.
talking what
Mr.
people expect
Microsoft
from a glass rectangle.
Here.
I completely agree. I think a lot of people are taking it from the wrong angle. I completely agree and admit most people don't care about 120 hertz and that the average consumer doesn't notice. It's more so from the $1,000 plus price tag. If you're in that market, this is becoming more and more standard amongst the competition.
I can understand that.
And there have been a lot of people, as I've shown in my polls in the YouTube, it appears that whenever you talk about 120 hertz, a lot of people click, which we're a more tech-oriented audience. I get that.
Sure.
But that's kind of what the Pro iPhones are meant for. They're meant to be more tech-oriented. If Apple didn't care about what most consumers cared about, what most people can notice a difference with, they would not be shipping OLED iPhones these days. They would just do the liquid retina for everything. But the truth is there are some people that get into the nitty-gritty details of color accuracy and refresh rate. And so that's what it's for. And in my opinion, I would have gladly paid more if it was $1,100 or $1,300 just to get 120 hertz. But I get it. Not everyone's into it. But
do you think it would have been it would have been optimized for all apps and everything going forward with that refresh rate? Everything, the fluidity would be consistent, not just with system.
I don't think third parties don't have to do anything. If
I
it's
don't
anything like
see now.
the
I want to try it on the iPad because I don't remember.
Maybe scrolling. I think scrolling would be native.
Games would, but natural scrolling and motion wouldn't need anything. Yeah.
Do you think
like the touch sampling on our iPhones is 120 hertz already?
Yeah.
That goes to my I understand promotion on iPad because if I'm gonna play a game, I'd rather play it on a bigger screen than the iPhone. I wouldn't. I don't know. But I get where you're going from the price point. Like, listen, if everything's wireless charging after a certain point, like if you're gonna pay this much, give me wireless charging. Give me no headphone jack. Give me refresh rate.
If I'm paying this much, remove this feature.
That's it. I can understand from some point, like, all right, at this level, in this
Microsoft
tier,
followed that trend.
Yeah, from this tier, I have a certain expectation just given the competition, the market. If you want to spend $400, then give me big old chin
60 hertz
forehead.
is fine.
Yeah.
60 hertz is acceptable, but when you're paying $1,000 for an iPhone in 2021, you expect a little bit better than fine. You know.
Do you think that hurts the battery at all?
Yeah, definitely. So that's why that's probably the main reason they're not doing it.
Right now,
which is
Right now with our current iPhones, are they dynamic refresh rates from 1 to 60, or are they always 60? Because I would think if
they need an LTBO display in order to switch the refresh rate.
If they added that kind of display, that would probably improve battery life. Because half the time, I'm just staring at an article or whatever, okay, there's a scroll, but then there's a hold and pause where that doesn't need to be refreshing at 120 or even 60 hertz. So I think, honestly, 120 hertz would probably have either a null effect or a slight battery gain.
Yeah, LTPO is the main thing. They're being manufactured by Samsung for the Note 20 Ultra, but that's a very low volume phone. So honestly, I think it may have been out of Apple's control. It's possible that the manufacturing lines that build those type of displays were not able to build. Building something for the iPhone is way more complicated than building something for the Galaxy Fold or the Note 20.
You mean people actually buy the iPhone? What?
Ew.
iPhones, when you're talking about building iPhones, you have to talk in like how many tens of million are you going to sell of this unit? When you're talking Note 20 Ultra at $1,300, you're talking 2 months from now, we might hit 1 million in units. So LTPO OLED displays are still somewhat of a new thing. The iPad doesn't use OLED, so it doesn't need LTPO. But because the iPhones are, they do need that, and that means that they kind of balance themselves. I wouldn't go as far as to say it would necessarily help battery life, because when you are doing something that uses motion, it drains twice as much battery as 60 hertz. So the dropping down to 1 hertz or 24 hertz helps. Yeah. It helps counteract that. But I would say best case scenario, it's probably the same battery life, which in my opinion is still great. I would take a hit in battery for 120 because I will go 2 days sometimes without charging my phone. But
really,
there's a reason.
Man, I
for
think
that.
I'm using my phone wrong.
Into later. Well, I'm not normal, but we could talk about that later if you want.
Oh, Drew, I could have told you once, buddy. I know you're not normal.
Well, I've changed something in the past week, but
okay, we'll have to talk about that.
Like right now.
I didn't want to change the subject. If you guys had opinions on or if you were done with that field, I don't know.
The field of Apple events or 60.
You have my. I don't know.
We don't script this, folks. So go ahead, Drew.
Okay. I have deleted from my phone Twitter, Discord, Reddit, and Creator Studio.
Nice. Yes.
And Instagram.
I have had an impact. Aha! Yes.
Well, I'm not doing what you did.
Okay.
I'm still using Twitter and Discord and Reddit and Instagram. I have just put them all on the OnePlus. And this has been my plan of attack for smartphone addiction, which we talked about a few episodes back. I struggled with it, and I'm still struggling with it. I have muscle memories ingrained in me now that I think is a legitimate issue. Like, not just, I use my phone. Like, I think this is objectively a problem mentally. And I get everyone admits that they're on their phone too much to a certain extent, and because of my job and my work, I can kind of excuse it as it's not the same as someone who is in high school and trying to get likes. It's like I'm interacting with my audience. I want to keep up with the news. Finding out about news is how I can make videos that people see really and get quick. So being connected and engaged is and get on trending, which is of the utmost importance in my career.
Take that, Apple.
It's a delicate balance, and what I originally told you guys, I think it was a month or two ago, was that I had tried to start leaving my phone at my desk in my office, and then when I was done with work, I just left it. And the problem is we use our phones for so many things that I kept having to come back into the office and grab it. My wife would be like, can you do some math for me? Which means get the calculator out, and this calculator on the watch is too tiny. And or she'd be like, have you paid this bill, or what is the balance on this bank account or the Apple card? And I'm like, well, the phone's in the office. So she's like, well, just go get it. And so I have to pull it out, and then my muscle memory instantly, even sometimes unconsciously, I will be in the middle of using an app, whether it be my banking or billing or email, and I will close it, open Twitter, start checking notifications. And when I realized I had a problem, it was because I realized I had checked Twitter saw no notifications or no new or interesting, just like someone liked your tweet, nothing interesting. And I'd closed it, gone to the app Louise was asking me to check on, and then immediately once she was done asking me about it, I closed it and opened Twitter again. And I realized this is a mental problem. Mm-hmm. I have this ingrained muscle memory to continuously check. Same thing with Discord. I want to constantly go into the channels and see what people are saying, even though there's sometimes people arguing about a bunch of crap in there that doesn't matter. Someone's like, so when do iPhones come out usually? And I have to answer them, or, that random questions. Did the iPhone 7 have an A9 chip or something like that? I just instantly want to respond and interact, and I do think it's a problem. So... yeah, it had the A10. That guy was an idiot.
Okay, good.
No, he wasn't an idiot.
Steve, you're an idiot.
He had a hard time remembering. Whoever you were, you're not an idiot.
We love you.
But I appreciate you joining my Discord. Essentially,
all love, baby. All love.
It's all love. Peace and love. Yeah. Essentially, what I realized was I cannot just leave my iPhone in the office all day and continue to do life stuff, whether it be check up with, especially we're dealing with a lot of fires right now, and a lot of people I know are being evacuated, and I'm trying to keep in touch with my family, so I just can't leave my phone away. Mm-hmm. So there's essential things we need our phones for, and I'm realizing that it's really, really difficult to just go cold turkey and leave it behind. So I was kind of ignoring my old rule. I was basically just taking my phone with me whenever I left the office, and I was still checking Discord and Twitter. And there were a lot of situations where my wife would be talking to me or working on something, and I would be distracted, and I would not help, and I would not be there for her because I was focused on my phone. Mm-hmm. And I decided that the best compromise would be to remove the distracting apps from my iPhone and then leave those apps on a work phone that basically stays in the office. And I hate Android. So I'm addicted to Discord and Twitter and Instagram.
But I hate Android more.
So now my approach is, well, maybe if you can only interact with those apps on a platform, on a device you're not as comfortable with, you won't feel as addicted, and you'll feel more like, okay, I'm checking Twitter at my desk so I can interact and check up on things, but I'm only doing it because I have to, not because I'm bored, or not, and it prevents that muscle memory from being built. So for the past week now, I had to redesign my home screen and everything, and now there's no Twitter, there's no Discord, there's no Instagram. I still have YouTube, which I don't actually spend that much time on my phone. Probably the worst thing I do with YouTube is check how videos are doing, just to see how many views they get, but it's not I don't think I have a problem with that, because typically I just check once or twice a day. So I've decided to leave YouTube there because we use it enough, and I don't feel it's part of the problem. I am paying for it. It would feel kind of weird to pay for it and not have it. But so I think this new strategy has worked pretty well. In case anyone was wondering why there's so much Twitter for Android on my Twitter handle lately.
I just thought, oh man, he really likes the Microsoft Duo that much. He's just having at it.
Yeah, I've really switched over. If my plan and my new principles go correctly, and I manage this properly, you should never see Twitter for iPhone again.
Ooh,
on any of the Tailosive. I don't think I want to bring. I like this. I like this system we have.
All my tweets are Twitter for web app, or web app for Twitter, or whatever. Because I've actually also deleted the Twitter app, and I'm forcing myself to use Safari to get to Twitter, which is equally painful. I mean,
not me.
Put obstacles in the way.
Yeah. And so if you see Twitter for Android or Twitter for iOS, it's Randy. That's
if you see, you'll see Twitter for iPad, Twitter for iPhone, Twitter for.
It's still on my iPad, so
it's still on my iPad. By the way,
what's funny is you'll. Here I am, like, no, I'm good. I'm gonna keep it as is, and then next week I'm like, y'all did something to me again. I already know it.
I was just gonna say, well, you may resist us now, but let it mingle.
Well, the thing is, like, I've done those exercises before, but they were always just detox exercises, And maybe, given the world, I might have to, maybe step away from everything anyway. But at the same time, I want to be updated with, this is iPhone season. So
Me too.
I want it on my phone. I'm ready to look at it. And honestly, I think I try to, I don't know. I've been very good about staying off of Instagram and everything else. Twitter is my go-to, but I'm so busy in life that to the point where like I have to take a time off from the show that I feel like I'm not caught up in that. My addiction and where we differ is that it's YouTube. I'm always on YouTube. I can't stop watching something playing in my ear in the background, something. And I don't want to not pay for YouTube Premium. I keep going back and forth. I want YouTube Premium. I don't want it. If I don't pay for it, maybe that'll make me want to step back from it. But there's just all this information, and I try to use it as an educational tool. I don't try to sit there and watch, what's Jeffree Star talking about today? It says the guy who then goes on trending and goes, that's true. But I really try to use YouTube as like, I use it as a tool to learn something. If I'm trying to learn a new Logic Pro skill, everything. Even editing, certain things, I go to YouTube for all that stuff, and then I go down these rabbit holes. So my addiction right now, almost unapologetically, is YouTube. But I'm paying for it. I don't want to not pay for it. Speaking for paying for it, at the time of this episode going up, which will be the 14th, or is it going up today?
It's going up today.
Oh, never mind. So...
Assuming you send me the audio, so
I'll send you audio.
It's kind of up to you.
My Apple Music subscription ends on the 14th Monday. I already got notified. So
right before the Apple event.
Oh, wow.
Tim Cook's going to get up on stage and be like, "So Randy,"
because I'm thinking about all this downsizing of stuff, and it's just for me, it's like, where can I cut costs and save money and stuff like that? And now Apple's trying to send me, hey, it's not too late, renew your subscription. I think that's just funny to me because it's like, nah. I'm taking a break and like, no, wait. It's okay.
Have you seen the leaks surrounding the Apple One subscription?
Yeah.
That you'll be done on the 14th, but you'll be subscribed on the 15th. I'm kidding, but
no.
You didn't even believe in that statement.
No, I didn't. As I was saying it, I was like, no.
No, here on the show, I said the only benefit that I use from any of the services is iCloud. I will pay for iCloud. I love how clean iCloud is in transferring everything to all my devices. You can't beat $3 for me using 200 gigs right now, and I'm doing just fine. I can't save any more money than that, and it's not worth.
I don't think Apple One's going to be good.
I don't think so either.
I think it's
good
going
if you're the
to
kind of person who has
try to
everything, but it's not going to be good for us.
Right, which is no one.
Yeah.
And I think
used to be me.
They're assuming like they're going to try to make it a bargain that's like, well, if you paid for News Plus, Arcade, Apple TV Plus, and Apple Music separately, it'd be this much. But with Apple One, it's this much. And it's like, yeah, but I don't pay for all those things. And it's basically going to make people think they should stretch their budget $1 or $2. That's my guess, is that it's going to be a little bit higher than what they're currently paying for certain memberships. But with me canceling Apple Music, I haven't looked back, like Nick said. It's been fine without it. I've lived without it for a month now or whatever, and it'll officially expire at the end of October, but I've been pretending like it's gone already. I just don't use it. And I will keep doing iCloud storage because that's cheaper than getting higher storage iPhones each year. And bundles are literally designed to make you feel like you're getting a good deal, and it's essentially made to push you to spend more than you really need. Right. That's what Apple One will be for. So that's why I'm not anticipating Apple One to be a great deal. I'm very curious how they'll handle it from a business perspective. I'm wondering how they're going to handle it. But from a consumer and as recommendation to people, like, I don't think anyone should do this. It sounds like a horrible
unless
idea.
They give us a higher tier Apple card. I don't see
that's how they're going to get you, huh?
Uh-oh.
Mm-mm.
That's how they'll get me if there's a. But the thing is, like, I got rid of my American Express, and
I remember that.
I'm getting rid of in October. I'm getting rid of my Chase Sapphire card because I can't travel anymore. It doesn't matter, and even more so, just situations in my life will lead up to where I don't need to be paying for travel anyway. So I really don't need the card anymore. So I'm trying to get rid of all things. Amazon Prime is already gone. These credit
Apple
cards and stuff
Card's
like
my only card.
Apple Card. See, I don't know if I can get that time. I will try, but I know for a fact I can get it down to 2 cards, and one will be.
And it's showing up on all credit unions now.
Yay!
Finally.
There you go.
My credit score has never looked better.
You're in the system. You're owned by the people. But
not that it matters because I'm not doing any loans anytime soon. But it was weird that my credit score was like, "Oh, you don't have any credit cards." I'm like, "Yes, I do."
Lies. Yes, I do. I just want a cool titanium. I want a black titanium card.
Ooh.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. What if we don't? What if it doesn't cost any extra? It's just a different color. Can we just get
even better.
Even better.
Even
that would do better than Apple One, I think.
It would.
Just getting people to sign up.
I really like the how clean. Like, don't get me wrong. The white cleanliness of it is very Apple, but having a nice black is just awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. I will take benefits if it involves including something in something I already have.
They need to do Apple Bank. That whole thing that we talked about.
Yes.
They need to do that.
Yeah, I agree. That would be great.
That's how you'll get my money. If it's all about getting our money, because that's what it really is at the end of the day. They want to have your money. You want to get my money.
They'll literally already have your money.
Yeah. I'll make my direct deposits go. My direct deposits will go straight to or Goldman Sachs. Whoever. I will affiliate with that because it's not
Apple
like
Bank will send you a MacBook Pro prematurely and just pocket the stimulus check when it gets to you.
There you go.
There
you go.
Be like, don't worry about it.
We're
don't
all
worry about it. You got a MacBook.
Early reviewers who, hey, I've been using this MacBook Pro for 2 weeks now. Yeah. Now we all have the same playing field again.
Right.
So
exactly.
Out of all the things I'd like to see, I mean, this Apple One thing, I'm not going to be getting it, but I want more iCloud storage. I have 6.64 gigabytes remaining on my 2 terabyte family plan. It hasn't sent me any notifications yet saying iCloud storage full. And I was looking on my iPad, and it just says 2 terabytes of 2 terabytes. But when I look on my Mac, it says 6.64 gigabytes available. And I know as soon as I start editing this show, I'm going to hit it because both of your files are going to be about 6 gigs. And
you
so
got
I
to
don't
tell
know.
your family they got to start pulling their own weight.
I guess. I don't know. So I'm very curious, and I really hope that they announce something, with the services and be like, and by the way, now there's a 4 terabyte option. I'd be like, yes, give it to me. I must have.
Randy, did you catch my idea last week for the iCloud storage thing?
I have not.
My pitch to Nick was that if you filled up the 2 terabytes, only if you fill them up, would they unlock like a $15 a month iCloud that's unlimited. But it's not available to everyone. You can't just jump straight to 15. You have to actually fill up the 2 terabytes.
You have to be a hoarder before you can spend $15 a month
right.
on iCloud.
You have prestige.
That was my idea.
You have unlocked. You have ascended to a new level of being that us mortals don't understand.
When you fill up the 2 terabytes, there's just a notification that's like, Jesus Christ, my God. Here's your unlimited plan.
When you fill up the 2 terabytes, you get a notification. It is time. You click it.
So I'm curious what this notification is going to look like, right? Because like all the other notifications are always like, get more storage.
iCloud storage full.
Buy more. And
that sucks.
It's just going to be like, okay. And I know I can go back through. I have like all of our original files from, I don't delete anything from the podcast. I know I can purge, 500 gigabytes pretty easy without trying. So I might have to do that if come after September 15th, there's no new iCloud storage amounts. But still,
true.
I'd rather just keep it all just in case.
I'm sad to say, Nick, I don't think you're in the majority, which is why
what?
Probably
most people don't have a terabyte iPad
much.
Pro and 2 terabytes of iCloud storage filled.
I'm amazed you filled up both of those, to be honest.
I know. I'm a hoarder, remember?
On the topic of unlimited data.
Ooh.
Oh.
Should we invite someone very special on the show to talk about our advertisement before we get into this other thing, which we're probably going to also talk about the advertisements?
We are, okay, that's an interesting, wow, okay. We're going to take a quick break so you can see a different version of me. Enjoy this version of me.
We'll see you guys in a second.
Hey, do you ever wonder how I get so much energy when I'm doing the show and the podcast and everything like that? And I talk really quick and I have all this high stamina and I get to yell things like, you suck dick, and all this stuff like that. Well, let me tell you, I need to drink a lot of coffee when I get started, because let me tell you, early in the morning, you don't have that type of energy, but when you drink coffee, it kind of gets your stuff going, especially when you get the caffeine and stuff like that. So let me tell you who's been helping me with my coffee addiction. It has been Motomilitant Coffee. Oh my God, it's so good. Let me tell you, right now they have this cool little new flavor that's year-round, by the way. Pumpkin spice, very delicious. The first one I ever tried. I also like using the Mexican coffee because, I live in San Diego. In San Diego, everything has to be Mexican. And I'm trying out this new one, Cinnabon, and Cinnabon is actually really good, so I've been doing a lot of stuff like that. And let me tell you something, if you need to get energy like this, then you should probably go over to motomilitantcoffee.com and use the code TAYLOSIF at checkout to get 10% off your first order. And you can pay with Apple Pay with the Apple Card. So if you have the Apple Card, that's an additional 2% off. That's like 12% off your first order, which is really crazy. So you take that, Nick. You suck! But Motomilitant doesn't. So thank you, Motomilitant, for supporting this channel and sponsoring today's video. I gotta get back to the show. We're about to start recording right now. I gotta go.
Hey, welcome back. Thank you so much, Randy, for bringing in the bacon. We appreciate that.
Well done.
Man, do you know
that was
the
awesome.
best advertisement I've ever seen from a cell company? Ryan Reynolds talking to Teacher of the Year. That was the best one. Seeing that in my YouTube soapbox filled my heart with pleasure.
The great granddaughter of the British are coming. The British are coming.
Unlimited is coming.
Yeah, I was like, oh, look at that.
Oh, Mint Mobile. Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that. Their advertising is on point.
Unlimited.
Now,
finally,
I want to say something that I know I've addressed. I'm pretty sure I've addressed it here on the show, so I'm gonna reiterate some stuff. I use T-Mobile right now, so the signal is the same as Mint. They use the
same
T-Mobile.
towers.
Yeah, same towers, and they don't throttle anything with Mint, unlike some like AT&T or Sprint. Or Sprint, AT&T or Verizon, they will actually give you. They don't give you the highest, bandwidth
speed
in regards to OEMs and stuff like that. However, T-Mobile is Mint one and the same. The way Mint makes their money is you buy their packages in bulk. So that's where the business end comes for it. But in return, just like
it's the Costco business.
It's the Costco business. You actually save money by buying it in bulk. Which, I mean, when it comes to a service,
they buy airtimes on T-Mobile's
I would do the
network
same. I would do the same thing with internet providers and stuff like that. If it saved me money buying bulk, because it's something we all use. It's just a way of life, and I would like to see this model kind of play out for other situations. T-Mobile is the uncarrier, the uncontract, because they were the ones that month by month, and there's no obligations. So month by month, walk away whenever, and Mint was effectively the reverse. Buy in bulk and save you money at in the overall annual. So I use T-Mobile because T-Mobile gives you North America coverage. Canada, Mexico, Puerto Rico, well, that's a territory, and also the Virgin Islands. All of that,
but not the United States. Just Canada, Mexico, Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico. Not the U.S.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and being in San Diego, I have family in Mexico, and we do go down to Mexico from time to time and stuff like that. And having the data and everything right there is great. Unlimited. I've been doing an experiment, and I don't think I've talked about it, but I purposely for the last 2 months have been trying to use Wi-Fi more than anything else when I'm home, and trying to stay off my phone. Part of the whole me downsizing everything with subscriptions and everything like that was also me trying to stay off my phone. And I looked at it, and my wife and I, we just did it just 2 days ago whenever the announcement came out. Like, what are we using? She uses 11 gigs, and we have 5 days left in the billing cycles. So she uses 11 gigs of data, not Wi-Fi, just data. or LTE, I should say. My LTE usage is 20 gigs. I went down. I used to hit the 50 gig. I was never using Wi-Fi. And I'm like, I'm paying for this. Why am I not using it? So I did an experiment for the last 60 days. I would use Wi-Fi over anything else, every opportunity that I would get, just to see what the actual usage would be. I use 20
Easy
gigs.
for this time of year.
Yeah, right?
Everyone's home. Yeah.
But unlimited, because unlimited is 35 gigs before you would get throttled down. 50 or 52 gigs with T-Mobile. My concern was hitting the cap. I'm not hitting the cap anymore. I said, okay, fine. You can make calls and texts still anywhere in North America. Data is different. You would have to buy a data plan. That was the only differentiating factor for me. Without going too much into detail right now, I'm still... there's a high probability I'm leaving San Diego at some point, just relocating. So my trips to Mexico will cease to exist. I pay $100 for a 2 plan of unlimited. So effectively $50 dollars each for me and my wife. For $20, okay, $20 more. Is it worth T-Mobile Tuesday where you get free stuff that is kind of got kind of cheap in my... I didn't care for that. Is it worth having in-flight go-go Wi-Fi for an hour that I don't use? Is it worth flight? What's that? Ew, with all these viruses? Ew. So, is it worth having data in Mexico that I'm not using anymore because I'm not even going to Mexico anymore? For $20 more, maybe the other argument could be, is it worth this Ultra Shield scam filter thing that they have going on? Am I getting $20 worth of value out of that? Everything else is exactly the same. Hotspot, you get the highest up to 5G. Don't know why, but 5G. You know, everything else is...
On the website it says uses 5G or 4G, whichever is strongest, implying that there are certain areas where 4G is stronger.
Hey,
what? No way.
They said it, not us. So I looked at that, and like for $30 a month, effectively, because you'll pay for a 3-month plan, and then you can do an annual. That is legit worth it to me now. So I asked my wife, would she be cool? And she's not a phone junkie or a tech junkie like us weirdos. She's just like, Netflix on the TV. She's about as normal of a
she
person.
She is a normal human being.
Yeah, I know. That's why I married her. I need that normality, so all three of us can be like tech. We could be weird. We could be weird with our
That's
stuff.
a very accurate impression there, Randy.
And she
we do that every day. That's how I wake.
She keeps the rest of it normal. So this might be the tipping point for me to be like, I can buy in bulk and maybe switch carriers.
Okay.
So how much is for both of you to have unlimited again?
100
on your current. So then you'd be saving like $40 a month if you went with Mint, right?
Yes, but the trade-off is I have to give up LTE for my iPad and I have to switch to like prepaid or something.
I wish they supported that. That would be
You're
nice.
using LTE right now on your iPad, right?
This very second. Just so audience and people who are watching, when I talk with these guys, one of the behind-the-scenes tech issues that I seem to encounter is when I'm on Wi-Fi, the connection actually gets kind of bad. Sometimes I don't see Nick. He told me during this show he couldn't see me, or I got really unstable. And every time I jump off of Wi-Fi, just like that, the connection and the stability is good. And it's something I need to look at into my own router or my modem. I think I need to address that. And I'd rather put money towards that than maybe having to, jerry-rig this with using LTE all the time. But I acknowledge that one of the trade-offs for me, but I'm paying an additional $20. So effectively, I'm paying $70 a month because $20 additional for unlimited LTE on the iPad, which I do use very frequently when I'm away from home. That it's like I do use that, but saving money. It's hypocritical for me to stop paying $5. Like, yep, that's worth it, $5. But I'm gonna pay an additional so 20, 40 if you include my wife, plus another, so 60 for the iPad. I'm okay with paying 60, but I want to shave $5 off of Apple Music over here. To me, it feels hypocritical because at the end of the day, saving money is saving money for me, and I'm mostly on my phone than anything else to this day. But that is something that I'm just weighing. But I think there's more pros than cons. It's not a perfect transition. It doesn't meet every check in the box, but it meets the majority of what I feel is relevant, what's smart, and economically friendly to our pockets.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think people use data differently.
What? No way.
Knowing how much they have.
I use the data exactly the same as Drew uses data.
No, I mean, like, if you have unlimited, you will use LTE differently than if you have less than unlimited. And
that's true.
Especially, I think Mint is doing well right now because of how many people are now working from home more often and have Wi-Fi more often. It makes less and less sense to keep acting like you're going to use 50, 100, 120 gigs a month just off of your phone alone and nothing else. And to be honest, I've known a lot of people that have switched to Mint. I've known my parents, I've known in-laws, I've known my wife, and I've seen a lot of people in the comments and on Twitter that have switched to Mint. And I've yet to see anyone that said, this isn't worth it, I'm going to go back to Verizon, or I'm going to go back to T-Mobile. Pretty much everyone I've seen who decided to save money and go cheaper pretty much has been like, this is fine. This is good enough.
Yeah.
I know you're different, Nick, because you have no decent Wi-Fi there, but when it comes to mobile stuff, also you might get better Wi-Fi with Starlink.
I am really rooting for Starlink
speed
here.
tests.
Yeah.
Woo!
Did you see this? Did you see the speed results they were talking about?
Headphone ready. Yes, I saw that. 100 down, 40 up, 20 milliseconds.
Oh my goodness!
That's good internet now, and that's not even using lasers. That's their whole laser constellation, which is coming, and that's gonna blow everyone's brain. But that's good internet right now. I am so pumped. Elon, please bring it down to lower latitudes. Come on.
Changing the world, Elon.
I really hope they come to my area. I know that it's going to be kind of limited, and they're not going to bring it to everyone. They're going to focus more on the smaller, more rural areas. But
you're pretty rural. I don't know what you're talking about. You're the poster child of things that you want to talk about being disconnected. You have a 2-lane freeway.
I know, but I'm still,
and you apologize about traffic because there was 5 cars on the road. I'm like, what?
To us, that's traffic. In the grand scheme of coverage, California is pretty populated.
That's true.
Even from space. So that's why I'm worried that they're going to prioritize Nick before me.
They're going to definitely put it like Nebraska or North Dakota. I said New Dakota. New Dakota.
A lot of Canada.
New Dakota.
But I want to sign up.
For
as
sure.
soon as I saw 40 upload, I'm like, I'm in.
Yep.
Nick,
that's
what
the
is
same upload I have now.
What's your thoughts on? I realized that we just moved to Starlink, but you were going to say something about Mint Mobile.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the Mint Mobile plan. Like right now, me and my entire family, the bill is, I don't know, $220 or something. I cleaned out lots of things. Like I got rid of Apple Watch plan.
Heart.
I know.
I just got a notification on my watch. They thought I had a heart attack right now. Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty atrocious. But just recently, since I've canceled Apple Music and working on my subscriptions, I've asked my family to start chipping in for the bill, and they've all been super cool about it. So I'm down personally to $70 a month or something, which is my iPhone, which is $50, and
your parents were like,
iPad.
Wait, you've been paying for the
this
phone?
Wasn't free? I'm like,
I thought this was just a public
yeah.
Service. I thought we had an auto pay set up. It was just doing its own thing.
Yeah, it's same with my grandparents. My grandma's like, well, can I send you a check every month? And I'm like, sure. So she's been sending me a check and a card every single month, and I'm like, you go, Grandma.
That's so sweet.
That's cute.
She's so
That's
sweet.
Cute.
I love my grandma. But anyway, yeah. So I'm looking at what Mint has to offer there.
She uses a ton of data.
She does.
She'd be doing live streaming.
She watches quite a bit of stuff on her phone. Like she has YouTube, and she She has like cooking channels.
Why
and,
is
like,
She's a modern grandma. Okay, I give her credit.
She has an
She's
iPhone 8
modern.
Plus. She's
My
pretty
grandmas
modern.
are not modern.
Neither are
My
yeah,
grandma
neither's mine.
never used a computer.
And also has never flown on a
I-
plane except for that one time.
Can you help me explain why older generations have such a hard time understanding when it's the Wi-Fi icon, you're on Wi-Fi. If it says LTE, you're on cell. I've had to explain that to my parents. Like
I still have a problem
of times.
getting my grandma to know what the Wi-Fi signal is. She keeps trying to describe the icon whenever I'm doing troubleshooting or whatever, and I'm like, so are there 3 bars up in the top corner? And she's like, well, it looks like a pizza or a triangle. Or like, that's the Wi-Fi symbol, Grandma.
bless their heart.
I know. Bless their heart.
They're the greatest generation.
Definitely.
They
Really
laid the
greatest.
foundation
Sometimes
for
it's
all
like-
this to happen. They don't got time to worry about the nitty gritty with us. They leave it to us plebeians to figure
Same
out
time.
the nitty gritty.
Exactly.
My dad will be using his phone. It's like, am I on Wi-Fi? I'm like, what does it say? Look at the top. It's right there. It's literally always there, no matter what you're doing. It says. They still ask. I'm
Oh
like,
my
come
gosh.
on.
He is the Apple Shepherd. You show your respect to that gentleman.
How much
The
is
Apple
Mint's plan?
Shepherd's still
Unlimited
using,
plan? What is that? 50?
$30 a month.
30. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm seriously considering this now. So
When you buy a full year.
yeah, and of course I'll do that. I mean, that makes way more sense.
Honestly,
to
like
do
I
it
don't like.
annually.
Okay, you have to commit to the signal or to the location, and that. So here's my hiccup. Here's my true, honest hiccup about this. If we leave San Diego and we go somewhere where the coverage is not great, I'm committed to it for a year.
Mhm.
That gives me a little fear of it. But at the
They
same
do
time,
other plans outside of the year, for the record. If
So
it's more expensive, but if you wanted to just commit to 3 months or 6 months, you could.
right? Yeah. We'll see.
So-
$30 is $30, man. Like that.
I know.
That's
That's
the thing.
$20 less than my current plan, which is awesome.
Oh, so here you go. I'm on the website right now.
Okay.
Not a sponsor, by the way, but they did send me the OnePlus and the iPhone SE. Not for a contract. They literally just as a gift after I made the video. When you sign up with the unlimited plan, it starts out at $30 a month for 3 months.
Yes.
So the intro price is $90. You can see how it does during that 3 months, and then if you want to renew for the full year, you can.
That's nice.
Right.
Which I think is good. I like that they give you that little 90-day trial. It would be like, is coverage good in your area, and are you happy with it? And if not, you can just back out, and you only spent $90. So it's still
Yeah.
not
Still less
not
than
bad.
basically
in my
2
I
months
love how
of my
clean their
current service.
website is. I had to jump on real quick just to take a look.
It's
I
so
love how
I'm
gorgeous.
looking at
clean.
it too.
Yeah.
It's very clean.
Oh.
So,
And I'm also a big fan how they don't encourage the thing that drives me nuts about the major carriers is how much they encourage you get your friend, get this person.
Yeah.
You got to lock all 4
everyone
people, 5
into a
people
family
into
plan, and then
contract.
it's cheaper.
Right. Well, Mint does the referral thing, which I guess is kind of the same thing, which is like tell your friends about Mint. But at the same time, when it comes to billing, you can do everything just for one phone line yourself.
Yeah.
And it's so much easier that way to just be like, here's how much it costs. What about 2 people? Well, times it by 2. What about 3 people? Well, times that by 3. And they can have their own emails, and they can have their own passwords, and they
Yeah.
can do their own billing. You don't need to attach 8 people to one account like all the carriers like to do, which is, it makes it really, really hard to change.
Yeah.
So I like the way that even if some of you out there just want a phone bill just for you and no one else, they keep it simple.
To be honest with you, I think this is why my wife is kind of okay with this, because this is one of the things where she goes, you want to pay more. If she could split up how we use the internet, she's like, you'd pay for the internet, because it's like I indulge myself and constantly being connected, and she could care less. And when it comes to our phone plan, we both like the idea of having unlimited, but she will be the first to say, like, if it saved more money using, like maybe a 20 gig and it was cheaper for data, I would have done that, because she never, I told you guys the numbers. It's so small that I think she'd be okay with the $25 a month 12 gig here. But that's crazy, because then for only $5 more, you don't have to worry about any caps. And But she likes the idea that, like if you want to do all that, then you could pay for it. I don't want to pay out of. I don't want to indulge your bad habits. No, I'm just saying that because she's not here right now, so I'm just talking smack.
He looks around.
I'm gonna see a shoe just hit me. But the idea that like, hey, all right, Nick, you want to really use unlimited for you, and then I'm fine with the $20 a month one, and so there you go. You can customize individual plans, and I like the idea of it's more customizable that way. You could, if it's the same household and it's coming out of the same pot of money, but instead of having four family members on this plan, this is more customizable, and I like that more. Yeah. If it's the same pot of money, it's the same pot of money, but now you get to control who has what per line instead of per account.
Mm-hmm. So the biggest hesitation I have with Mint is T-Mobile doesn't have great service in my area, which I think is what you're getting at, Randy.
You should probably move then, Nick.
No, I love this area. I have a blue sky, unlike both of you guys.
That reminds me of the whole. You go to the doctor. What seems to be the problem, doctor? It's like
too soon.
It hurts when I do
Burn.
this. Oh yeah, you should probably not do that.
Burn.
Let me tell you something.
Yes, sir.
My sky is
we
actually
needed
pretty
more
red.
burning here in the first place.
It's too soon, Nick. Drew hasn't left. He hasn't seen light in 2 weeks. He's turning into mole people, which is why
we have 2 guest bedrooms here. You guys are both more than welcome to come at any time and enjoy our fresh air.
I'll take the smoke over misery.
Okay. I love being miserable, so
See, there's enough fire to go around to reverse burn.
I see. Reverse burn. Anyway, so the service here isn't really great. Which means that
that's fair.
I have to have a specific type of phone. When I had an 11 Pro Max and a 10, I tried out Mint. I did their 3 gigs for $45 or whatever the starter package was, and I just wanted to experiment with it. And Mint did not work on the iPhone 10, but for some reason, like I got 1 bar of edge on the iPhone 10, so unusable, and I got 2 bars of LTE on my 12 or my 11 Pro. So I don't know what the those radio differences were. Like I know there's probably some, like there's that little extra band at the bottom of the new phone. So I don't know if that's something that
makes all the difference.
Yeah. So anyway, it wouldn't work with my current setup because I'm not planning on upgrading, but we'll see on Tuesday if Apple wows us. But yeah, so I'm watching it, but I'm probably not gonna change to it anytime soon. But
okay,
this is top of my list of like recommend my grandma do this because
I just want to point out something. I contacted Mint Mobile, not the budgeting one, 2 separate companies.
Not into it.
There's so many Mint.
They say it's like consumers using over 35 gigs a month will experience lower speeds video streams at 480p. So I contacted Mint. I'm like, can you just clarify something for me? Are you saying that when I'm on LTE, it goes up to 480 and not higher because that's something that none of the big carriers will do though? Like, they cap at 720 or 480. Like, can you verify that? Like, is that what this is saying or what's happening there? And if that is what you're saying, is there a way to unlock it so I can get at least 1080p on LTE? And they said, they got back to me on Twitter and they said that with the unlimited plan, what you're looking at and what that context is saying is that because it's the data, however you want to use it, you can stream up to any resolution you want. But when you hit 35 gigs, that's when you'll go down to 480. So even on these guys, you can stream.
Which would probably be like the end of the month.
Yeah. I mean,
because it's going to take you a while to burn through that much anyway.
For sure. So the thing that my biggest setback for leaving T-Mobile was for a long time, T-Mobile was the only one that on their LTE, you could stream up to 1080. And then if you're on Wi-Fi, then you can stream higher, and that was their thing. But AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, whoever they are, those guys would cap you at 480, and you would have to pay an additional cost to get to 720. Yeah. And T-Mobile's like, no, we'll give you the full actual true high def. And Mint confirmed for me that like, no, you can stream whatever resolution you want, but when you hit 35 gigs, that's when it will drop you to the 480 resolution, DVD
Fair
quality.
Enough.
So I just wanted to clarify that because I was concerned, and I see right below buy now the fine print, customers using blah 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 blah. I'm like, what did that mean? So I wanted to talk to them. I was like, That's something that would be a deal
Yeah, I
breaker
saw
for
that
me.
too.
Yeah, so
I appreciate you doing that research, Randy.
for
That's
sure.
good to know.
I live to serve.
So, Drew, would you be sticking this Mint Mobile SIM with your hypothetical unlimited plan, and you're clearly not a smartphone Microsoft Duo?
The Duo.
Oh,
It's here, our sponsor's favorite phone. Not Microsoft. No. This is terrible.
Okay. That's great. That's the show,
Also,
guys.
I'm not getting the unlimited plan. I don't know if I made that clear.
Okay. No, you
I
didn't.
use so little data. Louise is on the 3 gig plan and has had no complaints. She's run out of data a few times. I think the only time was when we went on our road trip to visit you. And on the way back, she ran out of data, but it still let her stream music off her phone through YouTube, which I thought was funny. So actually, every Mint plan is unlimited because there's no overage fee. You just get extremely slow speed once you run out. So they throttle it to, I think, less than 1 megabit per second. So it's like you could send
128
kilobits.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could send messages on Facebook Messenger if you wanted to or something. Really minor stuff, but it will be very slow, yes. But I opted for 8 gig just because I feel like I use a bit more than she does on occasion, and I have almost run out of it a few times, but never completely. So 12 would be too much for me. 3 I think would be too little, so I'm still happy with 8.
Wow, that's impressive.
Okay,
Sticking with
wait.
8, but did you have questions
stick your
about the
8
Duo?
gig SIM
I do.
in the Duo? Yes, we got lots of questions here. Go ahead, Randy.
There's, for one, it would make both of you very upset if I did that because it would ruin our group chat and I would turn green for everyone. And it's kind of pointless because I'm doing this thing right now where I leave my work phone in the office and then the only phone I take out of the office is my iPhone just for finance and Apple Card, which I can't do on here. So if I did take this out of the office, I would not be using it because I would remove Twitter and Discord and the social media app. So basically, it stays in the office. It always has Wi-Fi, and we barely leave the house as it is. So there's really no point in me putting my SIM in here. I'm still using it a lot for those. But you're not giving it a fair. I'm using it whenever I come in here. My iPhone basically sits, does nothing, unless I need to send a text, which honestly I mostly do on my Mac in here anyway. But when it comes to using Twitter and Discord on my breaks or in between videos, this is the default. If I go to the bathroom, this is what you'll see me doing on the toilet, just like reading a magazine with the Duo. So I'm still using it a lot and trying to give it, a fair chance with screen on time and all that stuff. But wow.
I have a surprise announcement,
bad.
guys.
Is it that bad?
I too,
it's Pixel Slate bad.
I too have been using.
He's got the Surface Neo.
I got the Surface Neo. That's right. It comes with writing, and you take this little thing called a stylus, and you can draw on the writing, and it folds. And if you want to, you can fold it all the way around like this.
Ooh,
it's so fancy.
Must be like $3,000.
I think it's about $1,200, but yeah.
So
that seems
why
reasonable.
so you're saying the UI is making it Pixel Slate bad?
The hardware in itself was bad enough. I did a whole rant on just why I thought the hardware
Pixel
was
Slate
clunky
was the
and
worst
dated
device you've
and-
ever used, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think it's pretty close. I'm trying to think, is there something...
That and the Pixel
worse.
3 XL, maybe? That restarted and stuff. And
Apple
had extra
TV's pretty
options.
bad.
Don't say that.
Apple TV's pretty bad. But let's not go that far.
I sold my Apple TV, by the way.
Did you?
I don't have it anymore. It's gone.
You're right. No.
But
I mean,
yeah,
the
this is
Microsoft Duo's bad, but it's not Apple TV bad.
I think the amazing conundrum of the Duo is not understanding if something is a bug or intentionally designed that way. I've never run into so many software... What's the word? I want to say kinks, but that sounds wrong.
Anomalies.
No.
So many software anomalies that I can't tell
more.
if it's meant to be that way.
Yeah.
Okay. And I can't tell if... And I think I know what part of the problem is. A lot of it stems from the phone being absolutely terrible at noticing when it's rotated.
Jeesh.
There's like a full second in between, and then when you're using it in like mini laptop mode, it straight up won't flip.
Turn? Yeah.
It's... See? We're still counting now. It's not flipped, so I got to tilt it downward more.
Man.
I think it's because they put the accelerometer in one side and not the other.
Huh.
Or it just has a bad gyro, because I feel like the device literally cannot tell when I'm holding it a certain way half the time. And also, I don't even think it's necessarily a bug. It's literally just the layout of a dual display like this is so hard to optimize for that the OS doesn't even know what to do half the time. Because you will like open Discord and it opens up on the bottom half and the little typing thing is blinking like ready to type, even though we have the home screen up here and no keyboard presented. So when I tap it again, it covers the home screen, Discord goes up here and the keyboard's down here. But then when I'm done typing, it jumps back down here. And I'm like, I'm not sure if this is a bug or if this is just how it's supposed to work. And also the home bars, they always put on the side. They won't move them down here. Even if you full screen it.
Wait. Hold on. I haven't watched many hands-on video. Is there no like little light up glowy buttons in the bezels to like go home?
Mm-mm. No, it's all gesture control.
They have gesture controls and bezels?
There's a flash, which is front facing.
I mean, there's a
which
flash.
I find hilarious.
I give up.
Because
I give up.
I mean, Microsoft, most people for front-facing flash, we have done the screen lighting up, but I guess because this literally has one less camera than the Pixel 4a, which was $350, this has less cameras than that. And when you're on the lock screen, I get a kick out of this. When you're on the lock screen, it adds the flash widget.
Oh,
so
you want to blind
it's front
yourself?
facing, and when you tap it, it blinds you.
3 a.m, you're checking notifications, and you're in bed, and you accidentally
I
tap
thought it
that.
would have been one thing if they grayed out the flash widget when you're using it this way.
Does that mean there's no
when you're using it this
biometric unlocking mechanism?
No, there's a fingerprint reader right beneath the power button. It's not on the power button. It's beneath the... And it's useless in this configuration. It can't do anything. And what I found funny while we were recording is I can unlock it while it's closed.
Ooh,
I can
dangerous.
rest my finger here, and it will unlock even though there's nothing to see.
That's
I
dangerous.
just hear the sound, and then when I peek open, it's already unlocked.
Okay.
I tweeted a few times the apps crashing,
Screen
YouTube
glitching on
behaving
swiping
inappropriately.
What the heck?
The camera claims it can record 4K at 60, and it absolutely cannot. It is straight up not 60 FPS. It is barely 20 FPS. The pictures don't look good. Video looks awful. The speaker is awful. The specs are awful. I have no clue where the money went on this. Originally, when they first announced that it was shipping, they were like, well, all the money went to the software development of optimizing Android to run on a No, it did not. It would have taken 10 minutes for someone to test this and be like, it's not ready yet. We should work on this a little longer. 10 minutes max for someone to just mess around with it and be like, these apps aren't behaving correctly. They didn't dump a bunch of money into the software, so I have no clue why this thing cost $1,500. Makes no sense.
$1,500.
Wow.
After tax.
Wow.
Okay.
I paid for it. I bought it. That was the charge on the account. I can confirm. It's $1,400 pre-tax, but when you're that expensive, tax is
I thought it was like 12 or 11.
And there's no NFC. There's no mobile pay of any kind.
Well, that's because it's not a
wireless
smartphone.
charger.
True. It's not a smartphone. You shouldn't expect smartphone features from it.
I'm going to try to play
Why does it have an earpiece?
I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I'm going to try.
Okay. So we're going to hate you about 6 seconds.
Well,
Ready? Set.
Ready? I'm going to try because, first, I want to say what, just as an observing it right now, looking at it, and then seeing your unboxing of it and Marquez's video and anyone else who's got their hands on it. I mean, I like how clean it all looks for if that's what they're gonna do. I like as a tablet.
It looks nice.
Yeah, I like how I don't know, just minimalistic it is with the no bumps and bezels. It's just a clean book thing.
Very clean.
I appreciate the
DS.
aesthetics of it. That's it. Yeah, I appreciate the aesthetics, and I love how thin it looks too. And that's all I got to say about the aesthetics of it. Here's me trying to play devil's advocate.
Until you open it.
Until you open it. It's a Gen 1 product. Maybe.
No,
maybe,
you're not going to go there. No.
Hold on.
Here we
Hold on.
go.
Hold on. Maybe it would run better.
The Zune was terrible this year. Next year, the
Maybe.
Zune will be so much better. No problems
run
with the
better.
second gen Zune.
If they put Windows on it instead and you treat it like another 2-in-1, like their other 2-in-1s. Maybe
No.
that's this they can
I don't
bring
think
back.
that would. I don't think Windows would hurt. I don't think it would help either.
Because it seems to me the problem is the software, right? The Android is the issue with the hardware. So if they put their own software on it,
right? But they did their own skin on. It's not stock Android. I know I've used stock Android before, and it's very different. They
I thought it was
a bunch
stock
of stuff. They've no, it's very Microsoft painted. Even the control center and everything has been emulated to be Windows-like.
I did not know that.
This is what I mean. You got a double tap.
The screen
to
is on the back.
change the display to the front, so you can change it into phone mode like this. I guess.
Why
if you
doesn't
want.
the accelerometer just know which way you're holding it? Like,
I think it's because it's in one side. I could be wrong. I haven't watched the iFixit teardown. It got a horrible iFixit score, by the way. So not great for a what's it called? Repairability. No surprise there. It's thin, expensive, and glass. Although I don't know why it's glass. There's no wireless charging. There's
wait,
no
it's not
water
magnesium on the
resistance.
back?
No, it's glass.
I thought that was like magnesium,
This will shatter.
Surface Book material. Oh my god.
No, it's glass. Definitely.
Because it's a clean
Unmistakably
aesthetic.
glass.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather have
It
like a
looks
single
clean, I
piece
guess,
of
but-
aluminum instead of a piece of aluminum and a piece
I
of
agree.
glass.
If
I
you're
agree.
not planning on doing wireless charging, metal, go ahead, go all out. That's like the iPad. There's nothing wrong.
Sure.
If you're trying to make it light, glass is heavier. And I will also add, it's not super comfortable in my pocket. If I want to hear all the people who are complaining about the Z Flip video saying, well, some people want a more compact, more portable phone in their pocket because girls have smaller pockets. This is huge in my pocket. Look at this compared just in width to the 11
Jeez.
Pro Max.
Yeah.
It's
That guy's
super wide.
chonk.
It's heavier. Maybe it's not. I don't know the exact tech specs, but it feels heavier. Just from the fact that it spreads out so much space. When I put it in my pocket, it's close, not exactly what I would say resembling like trying to put an iPad mini in your pocket, basically. If you're asking for a positive, if I had to say some nice things about it, I would say that the closest I've been to liking it, where I had kind of a wow moment, was when I was using Chrome or Edge, and I opened, like Mac Rumors, for example. That's where I get a lot of my news. I made it full screen, and then I switched it to this orientation. And while I was scrolling, I was like, this kind of feels like iPad mini size. Like, this starts to emulate a tablet experience a little bit.
But there's
But it's
something in the
immediately
middle
ruined by the hinge. Right. It's instantly ruined. Also, scrolling, they sometimes get out of sync. I will see it wobble on one side, and it's even through scrolling, you feel your finger go across the notch. Another thing I didn't see a lot of people bring up, there is space between the two displays that you can look through. Light gets through. It is not a seamless, like there's literally a gap in between. Like, I don't know how I could prove it. I'll show it with the display off, and then
Wow. That's
Like,
noticeable.
light flashes between it. So when you're swiping or scrolling and trying to pretend, there's no hinge, you feel that bump, you feel that ridge. And the fact that I could fit it in my pocket and pull out like an 8-inch tablet, that's when I was kind of like, that's interesting. I will admit it's different and unique and original, but that doesn't mean good.
Frankenstein was unique
important
and
to remember.
original. Did he need to exist?
There's a lot of unique and original things that aren't good. I mean, especially in Microsoft's history. Think of the Kin phone. You know, how many people were like, well, the Kin is a first generation. It'll get better over time. There's lots of potential here. And I'm like, you're talking about Microsoft. The creators of Windows 10. Do you really trust that they're going to fix this with software updates?
The creators of Windows Vista.
This orientation is horrible. Full screen, stretching across in landscape. Everything's cut off. Everything's blown up. And again, we run into the issue of Android isn't optimized well for tablets. So we really can't. It's even if the hinge wasn't there and this was a foldable screen, it's Android, which is why I stand by my point that I don't think foldables are the future. I think they're going to be a very small niche. However, if Apple did make one, it would be the best one by far. Of course. Because they would get the software right.
Because it would turn into an iPad.
Not just from a hardware perspective.
So the only hardware issue that I've seen you bring up is the obvious gap that's in between with the hinge. I guess
it's not a huge issue. It's just something I don't think people noticed when looking at it online and stuff.
I would say the lack of wireless charging for it being glass, and with those bezels, maybe I saw you bring it, like there should be a home button or something you can get to.
Make use of bezels, front-facing speakers or something. You know, do something.
Yeah,
it's okay. Otherwise, to have bezels, but
everything else seems to be software related. Yeah,
very buggy. And the touch sampling, I don't think I've ever noticed a device have noticeably worse touch sampling before this. Like, I never noticed it with the Pixel or the S20. I hope people realize, like, before you go off and say, well, he just defends all things out. I just recommended the Pixel 4a like 2 weeks ago and told people they should buy it. Like, it's not an Apple versus everyone else thing. This is just an objectively, like, I cannot figure out who this is for.
Yeah.
And I don't think just because it's different, we need to accept it and say good things about it. It's not productive. If there's problems and if there's issues, we bring them up. We talk about them so that they can make the product better. But the touch sampling on this thing feels like 30 hertz instead of 120. Like very responsive on the iPhone, and then you go to this and like scrolling, you noticeably feel like it's behind you. I don't know. Maybe it's just a placebo, but.
Well, they're two screens,
picture is terrible too.
If they're both 30 frames, the two screens add up to 60 frames a second. So
they're two screens, really just you're basically paying $750.
That's a good idea.
Exactly. You're just imagine you're buying it for $750.
You're holding it wrong.
It's very thin. I'll give it that.
It looks very clean. I love the marketing of it. It looks so clean, but I know that doesn't paint the whole picture.
It looks quite clean.
But you got me hooked on this whole like pure white.
Like this.
Yeah.
It's never stored like this, and honestly, you rarely use it like this anyway. And this is the only time it's this thin. The rest of the time, you're using it like this, and it's thicker than my iPhone, or like this.
Chonk.
When it's stored because it's put away.
Yeah.
And
your flashlight's still on.
It's pretty much. Oh. It's fine. My battery's still 100%, ironically. Ooh. That's how little my iPhone gets used. Also, the battery's not been great. Tiny battery.
So you posted a Twitter video of you recording a video of yourself with the Duo. Do you think it's a hardware issue or a software issue that it is so crummy, or both? Because it looks to me like the software wasn't able to keep up with whatever the hardware was spitting out. But I don't know.
I think that might be a hardware problem.
Oh, really? Okay.
The Snapdragon 855 came out in early 2019, and for some reason
it's not running.
Understand why they chose
65 or whatever the newest one is.
No, 855. They're using I think the same chip in the Galaxy S10. They put in the $1,500 Duo for some reason.
Wait, where did the money go on this thing? What?
That's what I keep asking. There's not software optimization.
I thought it was a unibody design. I thought that it was 60 hertz or something. Nice panels. I thought that
it is.
It was like
hertz.
this amazing hinge. I
thought
thought
wrong.
that it was like newer specs, like not a year and a half old.
The hinge
chip.
is good.
Well, you're saying there's a hole in it. Like, this is terrible.
Well, I don't know if everyone's bothered by that as much as I am, but to me that like is a noticeable gap. Not only is there bezel between the two screens, there's physical space. Like I can see what's behind the Duo, which just kind of ruins the illusion of the phone trying to be one whole screen. It's essentially as useful as holding two phones next to each other. Get some duct tape. It's about the same.
Let's see. Could we spec out
LG
2 iPhone 10Rs for less than the...
Pretty much, yeah. LG G8X did something similar with like this optional case accessory that had a dual screen. It was basically like having having two phones attached that could share battery and visuals, and there was a little bit of optimization in the software, but in my opinion, making it an optional accessory makes way more sense than building the entire product around it, because this ain't it. I don't see who would appreciate this.
Huh. Did you order another Android phone?
Don't get it.
Recently?
The Z Fold 2, yes.
Is that come?
I don't know how many times I have to... no, not yet. Okay. I've pre-ordered it, and it said it would deliver... I forget, next couple weeks? Sometime. Okay. I'll have both at the same time, so...
The Z Fold 2...
compare.
What was the name of the phone?
That's it. You got it.
Okay, Z Fold 2. Okay. Mm-hmm. So it's not the Z Flip.
5G, but I forget that part.
That is so confusing.
Yeah, the Flip is the normal phone that folds in half, and the Fold 2 is the mini tablet on the inside, skinny TV remote phone on the outside, which I think that's the best foldable, but I was just reading Ben Geskin at the time of recording this. He tweeted about an hour ago, and he has kind of disagreed with me respectfully on the foldables, and he thinks they're the future, and this is where phones are headed. This is where they're going. And we've kind of gone back and forth on Twitter. All of it, we go way back. I've been talking to Ben since 2017 now. But basically, it just comes down to I don't think they're that big a deal, and he thinks they're the next big thing for phones. He just tweeted he held the Z Fold 2 for a few minutes, and he wasn't so amazed by it as he thought it would be. He said, Don't get me wrong, it's an amazing mobile device, innovative, cool, very interesting, very capable, but I got a feeling that I can't make it my main phone. It's bulky, not made for one-hand use, and maybe it's just a first impression, but maybe it's just a first impression, and if I got it for a week or two, something would change. But currently, I'm not as confident in the Fold 2 as I thought it would be, and I'm upset about it. I would really like to fall in love with it and say that it's worth all the money, but in the first few minutes, that didn't happen.
Wow.
So if that's happening to Ben, who believed in the foldable, I'm wondering what's going to happen to me. After using the Duo, I'm very curious to try a phone that doesn't have that seam down the middle, because this kind of has introduced me into the idea of a portable tablet, but it's not making me budge on the future of phones. But I'm curious. Like, if Apple did try one, I would be fascinated. I would be very, very curious to see how they would do it. I don't think I would necessarily say it's good, just like Apple did the Mac Pro and the Pro Display XDR, and I wasn't really into it, and I didn't like that direction. I could see something similar if they did decide they wanted to make it foldable. Personally, I don't think they will. My prediction is that they'll decide the tech isn't worth it, and they can't justify the price for it. But it would be really funny to see them try.
Yeah.
And merging an 11 Pro Max and an iPad Mini would be interesting. I don't think it would be worth it. Nick is dying on us
You're getting
again.
them all choked up.
I shouldn't drink and breathe at the same time. Evidently, I have a drinking problem.
Don't try. Do. Would you guys be interested in a iFlip?
Yeah.
iFold?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, totally. If Johnny Ive were to send it to me with my name inscribed on the back, I would use it. Otherwise, I would chuck it out the window.
Otherwise. I think there's a lot of... oh, my God. He really can't take it.
Nick. Walk it off, champ.
I inhaled quite a bit of water
Apple
there.
Watch is going to send him a breathe notification.
You have coronavirus. Please stop coughing on everyone.
You're dying.
Well, I was dying the minute I was born, so.
Yo, that's deep, man. We're all dead inside.
So Neuralink.
Yes. Man.
How do you think they would have to price it if Apple wanted to make a foldable iPhone/iPad? What would the screen sizes have to be, and what would the cost of it have to be for it to make sense?
They'd probably do like you could buy an iPhone 12 Pro Max for $12.99, and you can buy an iPad Mini 6th Gen. That's all their 5th Gen or whatever the latest one is that they'll come out with later.
5th.
And this will be, $499. So together, it's $2,000. But if you buy this one new product, it's only $1,500, and you're just saving so much money. Such a good deal. I think $1,500 is. I don't know. Right. Apple could pull $2,000. I mean, they can do whatever they want. I don't know.
Apple can pull it off. I don't think Samsung can as well.
Well, they're trying.
I don't know.
They're trying, but I don't think it's...
I don't see... I'm not a believer in the foldable, so I don't have a stance for Apple to make it work because I just don't see it making sense. It's a weaker product with the screen and the mechanism. I don't know. I don't know. I never got on board with curved TV displays either. I just okay. I just things that bend don't interest me. I'm more of a go on.
I'm sorry. Just like I'm laughing at how right you are that like if someone came to like my dad or someone or like an average consumer and tried to sell them on a foldable, I feel like those are the words they'd use. I don't have much interest in things that bend. That doesn't. The fact that
also,
it folds
is it on
doesn't
Wi-Fi?
mean anything.
Yeah, I don't care. I genuinely don't. I don't have an interest in it. Flip phones
I think that's most people.
Flip phones were good for its time. It had its time in history, and it served a purpose then. And then, the moment we moved to our phones being our computers don't bend. Like I don't know.
It's a very base level assumption to guess where technology is headed. I think it's like everyone's saying, well, in the future, like Steve Jobs talked about it. Way back in the early 2000s, like maybe if there was a foldable breakthrough, talking about how, well, maybe someday screens will be like paper and you can fold them up. It sounds futuristic, but then once you start the execution, I feel like it gets more like, oh, wait, actually this isn't a good idea. And it's not just a technology limitation.
Oh.
Thank you. It's not just a technological limitation. It's also like a use case in practicality, like the Z Flip.
Yeah.
It's actually adding more complexity and steps to the phone that we didn't have to worry about beforehand. So
if you roll it up,
I would compare it to
newspaper or something, and you put it in your pocket. I can see the appeal of it. It just doesn't. I don't know.
Even then, though,
see, the thing is, paper's disposable, right? You don't use the same newspaper for 2 years. Like,
right?
Paper's
exactly.
Paper, and paper tears.
Thank you, Zach. Yeah, no, like screens and devices that we spend lots of money on, are not disposable. They're not things we use one time and then we're done, like a newspaper or documents and piece of paper for a class. You hand it out and then it's used for one day and then it's filed away or thrown out. It doesn't go through as much of a beating as our phones do, which is why making them solid glass rectangles has worked, I think, so well.
Yeah, I just bending screens, and therefore, like, I can, from an aesthetic point of view, I get it. It's breaking up the mundane. Every phone looks the same now, but that alone does not.
Very cool.
Yeah, it doesn't. Everybody wants to be the next iPhone, in regards to it started here, and now here's what all phones start looking like, and I I don't see it, and I could be wrong. That's where the market goes. Then okay, I just don't. This is the most efficient use of using our products: iPad, phone, flat. I mean, things are just. I don't know. I don't see practicality being the forefront of these devices, and I feel like anybody who's using a smartphone now, that is their primary computer and communication device. You want it as reliable as possible, or you get the cheapest product possible, knowing that you're gonna, drop in all this stuff, and it's not gonna be cost. It shouldn't cost $1,500. Like that's another thing too. Like all these Gen 1, Gen 2s of foldables is it's really expensive. It's too early.
Hinges are expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're learning that now.
Yeah.
Add a hinge to something, it adds $1,000.
Yeah. So anyway,
Magic keyboard case,
it's been my TED Talk.
$350. There's a hinge. iPad's a great value because there's no hinge. It's just that simple.
That's what,
honestly,
Drew? You just blew my mind. This is why iPhones, Apple Watches, iPads, good value. MacBook Pros, MacBook Airs, Z Flips, not good value.
the specs on those things suck, and they have a hinge.
Exactly.
There's a
direct correlation.
There's a little
there.
truth there about hinges. Maybe the AirPower had a hinge in it, and that's why it was
I think it did.
so poorly made.
It did.
May I just say though, like yes, the outside design before you turn the display on, it looks very cool. It's very thin and premium, and as long as you don't know anything about it, it looks great. I would love to see Microsoft make a normal phone. If they wanted to do a standard glass rectangle, I know that everyone's bored with those these days, but in my opinion, if you wanted to make, okay, we do our little Android skin, but it's Microsoft and it's preloaded with all these, there's a lot of bloatware on this thing, but I guess the Microsoft people care about that stuff. I was getting push notifications for LinkedIn, and I never even installed it. It was
my God.
You can find a job. Thank you, Duo. I spent $1,500, but I don't have a job. That's it would be fascinating to see Microsoft kind of go up against Samsung and Google. I mean, they've all got their own unique problems that Microsoft could come forward and try to present their own solutions with. I'd be very curious to see a Surface phone that just, I don't know, has 120 hertz, has a good camera, has...
And then they can call it like
Android,
Windows Phone or
oh,
that's I think someone should copyright that. That's a really good brand name, Windows Phone.
and then maybe they can add
Windows
a third segment
Phone
to the OS competition. Tired
No,
of
better
one or
yet,
the other?
what they can do is just contract out to companies like, I don't know, Nokia, just off the top of my head, as possible companies
That's
to
a
actually
great
manufacture
idea.
the hardware, and they could provide the software.
Nokia.
The king of desktop powerhouse software is able to really put to shame. And honestly, the iPhone doesn't have a chance. Like, we need to have a funeral for the iPhone. I think at this point we should just skip straight to the funeral.
All right.
this is solid. This is perfect.
What could go wrong?
I'm sold.
Thanks for letting me ramble, guys. I
Why
appreciate
Why couldn't they have put a camera on the outside? That's my question. What was so hard about that?
it. Wouldn't have been
Because
minimal.
it's cleaner.
Yes, I agree. I agree with them not putting a camera on the outside, but they should have put like 4 on the inside to make it look odd, to make it like being a good camera,
I
and to
I
use
kind
the
of hate
bezel.
this flash thing. Having a flash in the black bezel up here just looks awful to me. It's
That
gross.
would be annoying.
Like, put flash on this side, and then just a front-facing camera on this side, and a rear-facing camera on the other end. Hey, guess what? If Unbox Therapy gets to call the iPhone XR depressing because it has the same pixel density as the iPhone 4, then I can say this has the same number of cameras as the iPhone 3, and therefore it is depressing.
And it has the same number of pixels as the original iPhone, which had 1. So
The Surface Duo is depressing. One
Very
camera.
depressing.
Not even a front-facing and rear-facing one. But it folds back. Well, guess what? The XR had a bigger display, too. It's one metric. You can't look at one metric and say, there, it's objectively the same display.
it's a
iPhone 4,
multivariance
XR,
analysis that you need to make.
same phone.
Yeah,
That's how it works.
I saw him post something basic. I don't know what the context is. I'm not gonna watch it, but the truth about Surface Duo with somebody on his main channel. So he doesn't.
Who's he?
He has that disappointed
The
face.
truth.
The truth.
I've seen most people talk about it say you shouldn't get it, so I think
Did Marquez
it's not
say
so
that?
much a debate about. Yeah. It's
Okay.
mostly not so much a debate about is the Surface Duo worth it. I think pretty much anyone with a lick of sense would say no.
With that lick of sense.
The debate is there potential? Is there a future in this? People keep saying, but it's unique and it's cool, and the next one could be better. And I'm here to say no. Stop. Give up now. This isn't good. You tried. You failed. Learn. Do something else. This isn't it. Get away from the hinge thing. What about, you know what half of the reasons I've seen people defend this thing is like tent mode, like the fact that you can prop it up and have a call.
laptop,
like,
though.
why doesn't
It's so cute.
why not either, for one, buy a pop socket, or Surface could make a phone with a kickstand just like the Surface Pro devices that like pops out.
Better yet,
back
just
and
not make
prop it
a
up
phone
little
and
bit?
leave it to people who know how to make phones.
Well, that's the obvious
Mic
answer,
drop.
But I'm giving them a little help here, just saying, hey,
True. I mean,
do something.
Yeah.
If you wanted to spend all this millions of dollars on R&D, this wasn't it. It's in the words of Jack Sparrow, if you were waiting for the opportune moment, that was it. And you missed it.
Ooh.
why is the rum always gone? I tell them, Captain.
Are those on Disney Plus?
Captain.
Yeah.
Jack.
Okay, I need to watch those.
Yeah.
I think the fifth one's on there too. We should watch it. I watched all
I've
four.
heard of.
haven't watched those in a while.
But you have heard it. I always think of that line when
have
people tell me I'm the worst or least respected tech
Yeah.
YouTuber in the community.
But
You
have
might,
heard of
without
me.
a doubt, be the worst YouTuber I've ever heard of. But you have heard of me.
Hey, but you have heard of me.
I feel like that.
The most silliest
I
thing
relate.
is, do you know what we're looking for? And he shows the key. He's like, it's a key. He's like, wrong. It's a drawing
No.
of a key.
Much more better.
It's a
It is a
drawing of a key. So we're looking for the key to we need to unlock the thing. It goes, well, what good is the box without the key? You're not making any sense.
So we're looking for this key. No.
No. Oh, such silly Disney humor.
Great dialogue. We should wrap up.
No,
This has been fun.
we need to talk
It's been
more
real.
about the Duo. There's actually nothing else to talk about.
It shouldn't exist.
Man,
Case closed.
we're gonna have.
Expect an Apple Sheep rant on the subject.
Oh, can't wait. I'll turn on notifications. I'm not joking.
I edited the note yesterday. Like when the Duo first got here, I added to my video idea list. I was like, Duo unboxing, Duo review. Use the Duo for a few hours. Delete, 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 delete. Rant.
We'll also be
Stay
expecting
tuned. We got
a
some Apple events to
reaction
cover
podcast.
first.
Yeah, exactly. The goal is to have a reaction podcast right after the Apple event. Not right after, but that evening
Same
after
day.
the Apple event. Same day. Yep. You guys will
Same day.
see a reaction podcast. So be looking forward to that and appreciate all the hard work that I'm about to taking a whole day off to do this, guys. So, you know. At least you
you.
can respect it. So
Appreciate it. We'll see you guys soon.
All right.
Take care.
Take care.
take
Have
care.
a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.